Hello people, and welcome back to part 10 of Palaven, our vanilla Cities Skylines build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And last time out we worked on our Green Cities neighbourhood. You guys really enjoyed it. Thank you for all the kind comments, suggestions and support you guys left on the video. I really do appreciate it. Towards this side of the build, I have added in a touch more part detailing, so we're by our kind of double tram stops here. Getting some more people on the tram line now as well. Then also popped in a little bit of Parklife detailing and like a little outdoor eatery area with some flower beds, tables and like a little hot dog stand. There's a restroom here as well, also a community school. And move the yoga garden over next to the tram lines as well. So I think this kind of heads off the Green Cities neighbourhood quite nicely. And just expanded a vanilla park asset in here as well. Yeah, we also had a really good suggestion of moving the high density houses, which you guys were a fan of. However, we moved them over here onto the coastline, which I will do in today's episode as well. So I wanted to ask you guys, every 10 episodes of my Cities Let's Play, I tend to do kind of a city tour, almost like a recap, so we can go back and see the old areas now that they've fully leveled up. And the traffic flow is kind of circulating around them. The Green Cities neighborhood is burning down, as always. So let me know if you guys still want city tours in Palaven. If you do, we'll do one at episode 11, and then every episode ending with 0 after that, so 20, 30, 40, etc. I know some of you enjoy kind of the recap, moving through all the areas now that they're somewhat finished. In today's episode, we are going to discuss Parklife properly. Today is going to be more of a detailing episode. We mentioned that we do a couple of these episodes, probably every 10 episodes, I think. You know, just kind of a more detail, tidy up, aesthetically focused episode as opposed to an expansion. And we do need to make a stop by the campus first, though, because we've hit level 2. Wonderful. Yeah, we've dropped down. That's fine. No worries, we still have the buildings unlocked anyway. So, since we've hit level 2, we've unlocked a trade school outdoor study. We also have a trade school gymnasium, and a trade school cafeteria, and a trade school fountain as well, which is very, very exciting news indeed. So I think I'm going to move the police academy onto this road right here. We're just going to pop it onto there. There we go. So I'm relatively happy with this theme that's going on right now, yeah. I've kind of got this big car park in front of 2 big important buildings. I think that's what I'm happy to go for. And then we do want to integrate some public transport into the campus area. However, I'm quite eager to wait for the train metro hub, because we have the train line right here as well. And I would really like this in the campus itself, as opposed to just having the overground metro. I mean, we could have this in here as well until we wait for that. Which I think is what we will do. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and draw it out anyway. Let's bring ourselves... We can squeeze it right there, that's fine. And then we'll bring it out across like that. And then we'll do that one as well. Let's take this main road away. Okay, so we'll bring the cycle path as well, and let's go ahead and get one of those new buildings in. So we can squeeze in a fountain. Actually, if we were 1 tile deeper, we could get 2 in, so I think that's what we will do actually. So let's just double check the length here. But we know, don't we? Okay. So let's bring it out to there, and then 1 more tile. And I'll bring it down to this point, and then we should be able to squeeze 2 of our fountains. Is it a fountain? Yeah, a trade school fountain. So I don't think that looks too bad. A little bit of symmetry. And then with the spaces that we've got either side of it, we will go ahead and draw in a little path border. There we go. So how's that looking? Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. And then what we'll do is we'll cut that one away. Bring it up. And then we'll relocate our police station just up to the edge. Wonder if we go there, do we have room to squeeze a path through this side as well? Yeah, I'm guessing we won't, will we? It's just too tight. Oh no, that there is a sweet spot. There we go. So that's hooked in, and we've got the path moving behind the police academy right now. And then that will allow us to continue expanding the campus behind, and we can get some more of the buildings in here once we unlock them. But I think that's a nice little start, I think, isn't it? And then if we did want to have a very brief look at the overground metro station, we should be able to squeeze in pretty perfectly here because we're working with even numbers. Yeah, there we go. So I think that looks pretty nice, right? Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. You know, if we have a look at the metro tracks that are on the ground, they work really nicely with kind of the University of Technology assets. Got this like little orange strip in the middle. There's got these little railings. It's quite nice. I am a big fan, and I definitely want to have the metro flowing into the campus. And what we'll do as well, we'll cut it through the farmland here, and begin to kind of factor in a metro line from here into the eventual downtown that will sprawl across this part of the map. And then we can also run it back against itself and kind of take people down into the industrial area as well. Yeah, so let me know your guys' opinion on that. Do we want to see the train, metro hub, public transport hub in here? Or do we just want the overground metro? At the minute, I'm leaning more towards the train and metro hub. But I think that's alright for right now. Super, so let's have a look at some more buildings we want to pop in for our campus. Let's go for... So we got the gymnasium and the cafeteria. We do have that outdoor study area as well. Yeah, okay, so it's got kind of like this little corner feature on it. I definitely think we need to bring attention to this corner, you know. It's got the front, got the word gym on it. It's got the parking decals out front. This definitely needs to be kind of, you know, the focal point, I guess. So we'll leave ourselves a little bit of like an air bridge. You know, just a bit of open space where we can do some more parkland. And then about here, we'll start to formulate that corner. So let's have... This road's in the way, isn't it? Have the gymnasium on one corner right there. I think that's okay. And then again, if I want that cafeteria... There we go. So just cut across at 45 degrees. And then let's grab our cafeteria. Place them in. And then we've got a little bit of... No, just a different shape and a nice corner developing here. We can definitely get some Parklife details in there as well. So with the outdoor study area, where do we want this? This is going to be the question of the day, I think. I think to have the outdoor study area so close to all this main infrastructure, you imagine it would be quite loud around here. Big car park, like a stadium, and a metro train station as well. Can't be the best place to come and study outside, I don't think. Maybe we just go for behind the police station for right now. So unfortunately you can't draw paths out of these like you can with some of the vanilla park assets. You know, they don't have the snap nodes on them. Can't draw from them, which is a shame. I don't know. I think there's definitely some ideas ready to formulate with the campus, but I'll keep playing with it off camera. Either way, we have now hit the requirement for level 2, which we have indeed. I've granted this year's academic work. And you know, we will hit level 3 eventually, making a pretty heavy loss in it right now, but our budget can take it. We'll wait for the students to creep up. And we've got some stuff over here ready to be sorted. Wonderful. So today we are going to discuss the wonderful world of Parklife. If you don't have the Parklife DLC, it is certainly one of the better ones and assists with detailing your cities tremendously. Now, we started this park a while ago, and we're going to try and finish this today as well. Because it's a bit bare bones at the minute. You can see that, you know, it isn't quite finished. However, I also wanted to discuss how you can cheese Parklife to make a ridiculous amount of money using something called like a park crossing technique. And also how you can use parks to decorate spaces you wouldn't usually, such as alongside a highway here. So, you know, you have your highway and your residential. And again, very similar to how we discussed when we looked at decorating public transport stops, you have this no man's land between the two. So we're going to use a park to fill this out today. And also to cheese the life out of these sims right here, because there are a lot of them. Yeah, so we're going to make them pay to cross the road. Let's go ahead, let's take out all the existing infrastructure, and then we'll go ahead and paint out ourselves a parkland. So we'll grab our little park painting tool, and I guess I'll just stick to the road guideline for right now. Bring it on around there. And then we'll take it probably just up to the campus road as well. I'm going to extend that cycling infrastructure over to the university too. Super. Hillside Hill. So unfortunately guys, the name of this town has, name of this park has already been claimed by one of our wonderful subscribers. Pollington Park. Thank you very much for the suggestion of the name. We'll run over a couple of the policies as well in a moment. So let's go ahead and grab some main gates. So we'll dive into our city park stuff, and then we'll grab a small park main gate, and we'll place this here. Fantastic. Right, let's come out to there, and then we'll come up by 3. We'll come across the highway. There's floating people right now. This is fine. So I need to get a side gate in here. So we'll go ahead and place that in. We get a park side gate right on there. Oh no. What were you doing there? Well, you know, I think I can work with that. I think I can work with that. Now with Parklife cheese, which is kind of the forcing of Sims to move from one part of your town to the other by paying. If you're going to draw a bridge out immediately from a side gate, they don't actually walk through the side gate. They can almost come through the side of it. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a little bit of flat path on the ground before a bridge starts. I hope that makes sense. So this side right here, gate straight into bridge will not work. They won't count as visitors. They can just walk from the road to the path. However, if you leave yourself a little bit of pathway before the bridge starts, you are good to go. So just bear that in mind if you're planning to do this in your city and you're wondering why you might not be getting as many Sims kind of paying to come through. That was probably why. Okay, so I want to start this cycling network from here as well. So we're going to bring our cycle path out of there. And then again, I'm going to come up by 3. So I guess we would also need another side gate in this one as well before I hook the path up, obviously. Again, I'm going to go for that technique. Bring my path down. You actually have it from there. And then hook in a little bit like that. So let's just kind of get a view for what this is going to look like. It's kind of running parallel with the road here. I'm fairly happy with that. Definitely needs to be tidied up just a touch, I think, doesn't it? Just a touch. But we'll get there. We'll make it look good, don't worry. We always do. Let's get an idea of some of the visitor numbers to Pollington right now. Yeah, there you go. So we've already had 39 this week. Bearing in mind as well, when we have a match day on at the Aquatic Centre, this path gets absolutely slammed with people coming through using the bus line to get to here. So that's going to be a pretty crazy moneymaker for us right there. Okay, so I'm happy with the way this is looking. I like it over the highway as well. You know, you can see these cars. You know, this is a prime example of expanding your infrastructure, right? We have pedestrian infrastructure alongside the road infrastructure, and both of them are getting use, and they're both helping to alleviate the pressure off each other. So, you know, make sure you expand that pedestrian infrastructure with the roads as well. Something I'm always telling you guys to do. Alright, let's have a little mooch at what's going to happen with the path up to the rest of the park. So I'll bring a path out this way. Oh, can we squeeze under? Oh, no, I bet we can. We can squeeze under here, definitely. And if we hook up there, Sims won't be able to walk out of this point right here because it's kind of going on a curve. If you leave it at that road, if you leave it at that point unconnected, then they will be able to walk through. Super. So we can just carry on down here now, basically take off my angle snapping. And then we'll bring this up until the bridge. So again, I'm factoring in that decoration to the highway as well. We've got a little path running alongside it now. And then we'll have everything back on. And we'll snap up to this point, and then back into there. Don't think I'm a fan of the trees at this point. I think we'll go for the ones without decorations. That's going to be fine. And then let's go ahead and grab another side gate, and we'll lob this in about there. And then I guess here as well, right? Go ahead and get that one in. And then we will draw this up. Again, I'm going to use a little bit of a mix and match of different pathways. It helps create different kind of colours and textures with your little stuff, little builds. And then again, I'll bring it out from behind here. And then we can hook it into this section as well. And then likewise from this point too. So that's kind of the base structure of our park in. And it's filled out of space. And we'll start to see some people walking around here. Now I am aware that they can come in this side, but that's fine, you know, I'm not bothered about hooking up park gates on this side either. Just because of the start, now you don't have to have them all hooked in, but a good few of them will ensure that the park makes a decent profit. As you can see, we had 1,080 in ticket sales this week, and that's without any policies or anything going on. So setting these kind of things up in the right place by train stations is a very, very good option. If you kind of leave the main road of your train station with just the train station on it, and then link nearby stuff like attractions, unique buildings, commercial zoning, industrial, by a footpath, and then turn that path into a park, you will make some pretty tasty money. These things can make thousands and thousands a week. It just kind of depends what's going on. Okay, so let's have a look at some policies that we can give to the park. So obviously animal ethics is only applicable to zoos, so we are not building a zoo today. About the advertisement campaign, so advertise the park throughout the city to have more visitors. It will draw 20% more visitors and costs 200 a week. You can also give it main park and mark the park as the main attraction in the city to make it more attractive to tourists. If you have several parks with this policy active, they are equally attractive to tourists. And then there's also some fireworks, there's night tours, different things you can do. Even more fun applies to amusement parks. And then recycled garbage also applies to nature reserves as well. So guys, I think what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and take a look at a little time lapse of the kind of the main junction of the park here. Without the advertised campaign policy active, and then we'll take the same time lapse again with the policy active, and we'll see if we can notice a difference with that 20% more visitor policy. So we'll be right back. Alright, so let's begin to get some assets in here. And we're not going to go too overboard with this one, I don't think. Maybe just a little park cafe somewhere. Even just like a little info booth, actually. Maybe let's go for the info booth instead. We can have this. Super. So just redrilling my pathway so I can get the fence to snap around it. And then we'll carry this on, go from down here. Again, we'll just snap to the angle, just makes it easier to draw these things in. We'll just snap the fence there, and then what we'll do is we'll throw in just a simple tree asset. There is a sweet spot. There we go. Maybe two of these like that. Be a little bit close, actually. I don't know. We'll tidy them up towards the end of the episode anyway. Okay, so just some pretty basic, simple parkland right now. Yeah, I don't really want cafes along here. You know, it's a bit weird to have a cafe right by the highway. And I imagine it's a particularly nice place to come and sit for a coffee. So already this is starting to feel a lot nicer, I think, you know. Yeah, everyone's moving around it. Cycle highway's getting some use. I think we do actually want to bring the cycle highway out on this side as well. Let's come up and out into the middle. And then we want to bring it down here at some point, don't we? So we'll carry on with that again. Come out like that. I think we'll have it on the same level. That might be a little bit too high, but I guess we'll see. And then we'll just start to descend. So I'm going to come out as far as I can. And then down again. And then down here. And then onto the floor. And then hook it in like that. I'm fine with the snap on the angle, you know. It's a nice change of direction, I think, isn't it? Yeah, kind of the little square descent for our cycle highway isn't too bad, I don't think. You can already imagine all the car journeys that this park is saving, because people can walk over now. And it's a nice use of the space. Super. So we'll let this run. We'll let it keep going. Yeah, we're making pretty much £1,000 a week out of the park at the moment. And for a park that's only costing us 128 simoleons a week to upkeep, you can't really complain at that. And then we will get enormous surges in influx, especially when there is a match day active at the stadium, which the team's doing very well actually. 5-1 and 1 lost. So yeah, and just imagine how many people would be driving if this park wasn't here, or clogging up the public transport routes. We're getting some people coming down here as well. I think we'll take this path away, draw it up into here, and then maybe we can go for like a couple of restrooms. And then I know that the person that has named this park is a fan of these cute little pink blossom trees, so we'll have those in as well. Are we out of water? Okay, so we need another water tower. Let's go for right there. Wonderful. So it's a little block of buildings, I think that'll be alright. And then we've got plenty of room for details around here towards the end of the episode as well. So, you know, not every park has to be like a city park in a suburb or like a central park you would imagine in New York that you would build in your downtown. Using Parklife to decorate the side of a highway will work wonderfully and adds a little more practical use to that space as you kind of expand your pedestrian infrastructure around the road infrastructure as well. You know, I'm totally aware that these ones are a little too close to be getting charged, but you know, I'm making 10,000 a week at this point in the city, 13,000, 14,000, etc. So, you know, that for me is a pretty tidy profit. If you want to do this properly, you can get this up to 4, 5, 6. I've even seen it go as high as 10,000 in some kind of downtown regions. As far as I'm aware as well, this kind of Parklife cheese design is from Biffa, although he may have found it from someone else, but as far as I'm aware, credit to Biffa for this one. Okay, let's head over here now to the Rix Rocket, the Rescue Dog Park, and kind of begin to finish this one off because it's looking a little bit almost half-assed at the moment. Okay, so we've got the chessboard in there. Let's go ahead and have a look what else we've got to play with. So obviously there's some water assets here, like park piers. We don't have any water in this park, and I don't think I'm going to be building any. And I guess we could do a pond, right? Because we have the water outlet pipe from natural disasters. It's just such an ugly asset, you know. I think we'll try it. We'll try it and see what happens. So let's go ahead and begin. Let's actually flatten ourselves out a bit of land first. And just so we kind of have space for our pond here. Okay, and then we'll flatten it out at this point as well. Super, and then we'll grab our dig tool. And probably come down. That should be okay, I think. And then I'll just carve this out. push it up to the paths as well. And maybe into there. Let's make it a bit of a weird shape. And then up to these corners too. Just dig myself out a little hole and then level terrain tool to the bottom of that hole. And you can give yourselves just a nice little ditch or a pond, whatever you want to call it. Let's go for our fresh water outlet. So the fresh water outlet comes with Natural Disasters DLC and is the only way of getting kind of water into the vanilla game. So let's go ahead and hook this thing in. So this thing will start to distribute water. So the kind of annoying thing with water in the vanilla game is that it evaporates even outside of a fresh water outlet. Now this becomes quite annoying because you have to keep refilling your pond. Unless there is a workaround around this that I don't know about, feel free to let me know in the comments. So we'll just kind of let it fill up to a sensible level here. And maybe a little bit more. And then we'll probably go for, that'll do, and knock it off. It will get a little bit of flooding just as it spills over, but don't worry, it will calm down. You'll see it'll just kind of spill over a little bit. You can put keys around this if you want to, but since this is a fairly kind of small suburban park, I'm not really bothered about having keys on this. Okay, let's go ahead and throw in another one of those piers. So we have a number of options. There's pier number 1. There's pier number 2, which kind of has like this little gazebo shelter on it. I think I'm going to go for the smaller one. We'll have this in about there. And that's okay, you know. A little bit of a pier, maybe another one. Do we want 2? Maybe one in there as well. So yeah, maybe one of you guys knows of a workaround to stop the water evaporating. I guess you could make the pond incredibly deep, so it takes a while to go away. But otherwise, I will have to keep coming back here. Oh, look at that, we've hit level 3, wonderful. And we've unlocked a couple of gazebos as well, which is fantastic. But yeah, there you go, simple pond. You do need the Natural Disasters DLC for the water outlet pipe, but you can get some water in. And you guys will kind of get a sense of how fast it evaporates as we continue to build this park. So we just unlocked a couple of gazebos, which is exciting news indeed. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a regular old gravel path. And I'm going to go for no snapping here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw in a really tight and windy gravel path. Making sure we keep distances very short. We're like, yep. And then we hook in like that. Okay, so it's something a little different. It's a different colour, it's a different pattern from the rest of the paths in the park. And then what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and throw in a couple of these little gazebos. We'll grab kind of one of each. And we'll have one on the corner there as well. So, you know, these work really nicely as kind of suburban decoration as well. For example, kind of right here. You know, on the side of a road in the suburb, you can just have a little gazebo. And that's okay, right? No, fills out some empty space, I think. Works nice as part of a town centre as well. So we have like this little central plaza square thing going on right now, okay. And I did mention that I wanted almost like an elevated cafe that sits and overlooks the suburb and kind of the pond here. So that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and grab a level terrain tool, smallest brush size, and I'm going to pick my height. Probably this one right here is perfect. And then I'm just going to cut away a really kind of small level playing field. There we go, that's fine. I'll do nicely. Put it away there. Super. Then I grab my Parklife cafe. We'll go for cafe number 1. Since that is, well, the only cafe, isn't it? I'm going to paint my park out a little bit more. There we go, wonderful. And then we'll have, so the front of the cafe kind of sits like here. Okay, I want to make sure that's totally flat as well. So you'd imagine the Sims, they kind of sit in this little garden, they've got a nice view over here, right? And again, it's a different height, so that's going to be nice. Let's go ahead and grab some park tiles for this one right here. And then kind of from the corners, we'll just begin to bring in some of these tiles like this within the middle. And then we'll come across and do the same thing here. It's a shame these don't have a snap in. It's it can be a little tedious to place these in, but with a little bit of patience you can get like a nice little square like this. And then maybe we'll just surround it with kind of 2 flower beds each side. I just have them touching at the corners. It's also a shame as well that Sims, they don't really interact with these squares, you know? You can do as many of them as you like. You need the event generator mod in order for them to be kind of useful, which is a little bit of a shame. Considering that you can do some really nice things with them. I'm just going to go for some pretty sporadic table placement, nothing too uniform. Maybe a couple of little bins in here as well. Maybe one of these little finger post signs and a light in each of the holes between the flower beds. And then I reckon we can do another cafe on this side as well. So how does that look? Oh, that's kind of too bad. It kind of factors in this little hillside mountain that we've got going on here. And we just got the climbing frame as well. Wonderful. We are flying through the levels of this park so far. So let's go ahead and get this climbing frame in. Cycle to this one right here. Then we can box it in. So we kind of factor this into our little, almost like central strip, right? But check the park details, see how we are doing. So with this kind of park, you know, it's a small suburban park. It would be fairly unrealistic to pay to get into something like this. You know, these are just kind of open, recreational, city-maintained public spaces. At least I know there's no parks that I've ever seen in England that have an entry fee. And before I forget as well, because I usually do, we have the Emerald District as the name for the Green Cities area. So thank you for the suggestion. So I guess we'll throw in a couple more assets for this park life. We'll get it to level 5, and then that'll just give us access to all of the assets for any other parks you want to build in the future. How about a little restroom up alongside the cafe here? So I'm going to hang around and wait for the visitors to jump up, and then we'll come back when we hit level 5. Just a little shout out for Pollington Park, guys. We're up to 3,600 income in a week with 150 visitors. This was after a match day. The cycle highway is super busy as well, and people merging onto the road to come into our little cycle network here. Hopefully now you guys can see we have a solid cycle infrastructure in, how much of a difference it makes to people getting around the city. Here we go, so close. And boom, there we go. And that's going to give us the trampoline park and $10 apparently. Oh no, there we go, it's from the overlay. Alright, so let's delete these assets that we placed in to hit the entertainment level. And we can grab ourselves a wonderful little trampoline park. And I think we'll kind of pattern this up with our climbing frame here as well. So we've got some little old man is floating in the air. There he goes. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with this park layout. It's nothing too special. You can see again we're losing the pond, which is a shame. I think it's just the game mechanics, you know. There's not a vast amount of stuff you can do to really change it. It is a bit of a shame. but you know, it's that's just the game for you, isn't it? I suppose at the end of the day. I think what I do want to do here is just to help complete the sides of the park. Is we're just going to go for a few commercial blocks. We'll go for 4x3s and 4x4s, just kind of here and there. Nothing overly exciting, and we'll just wait for them to come in, make them historical. And then what this will give us is a nice little commercial front on this side of the park. We have more of a residential front over here. So just going to throw in a couple of different buildings and make them historical as I like them. There we go. Most of these are okay. Yeah, that should be fine. Super. So guys, this feels like a good place to jump into a detailing time lapse. We're going to do this park right here and this one over by the highway. And I'd probably throw in a couple more little detail bits and pieces around the new additions to the campus as well. Yeah. As always, we'll be right back. Alright guys, that is going to do it for today. If you enjoyed the video, a like below is always appreciated. Equally as much if you didn't enjoy it, please feel free to leave a dislike as well. It's always nice to take some time and detail some of those empty areas using Parklife. You can get some really nice cool patterns going on. Again, Google Maps is your best friend when it comes to getting inspiration for these areas. Find any park anywhere across the world and copy its layout. And you'll soon find yourself coming up with lots of different kind of designs and shapes for these parks to help flesh out the areas around your city. Don't forget to let me know, guys, what you want from the city tour. Do you want to see the city tours return for Palaven, or do you just want to see us carrying on, getting on with the city? Because I know some people like to kind of revisit the old areas now everything's up to level 5 and the traffic's moving around them. And some people just want to move on with their life. Let me know, I'm happy to do either way. You guys are the audience and you're the ones that are having to watch. Otherwise, I will leave it there. I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.